Welcome back, as always, to the sixth episode. I thought it was fifth. Sixth episode of RowMMo. And today we will talk about I've never noticed how beautiful your eyes are. The last episode was very long, and I apologize for it. This one will hopefully be shorter. And I know this because out of all the songs, this is by far the one that's the most cryptic. And there's not a lot of meaning to it. But I think it's a very cool one because there's history behind it. Many people seeing these lyrics for the first time might connect it to flirting and the failing in the flirting. I believe there's some of that, but also just looking back on oneself, seeing the beauty and the usefulness in something others might not, or something that you naturally would not, something hideous or something dull. Begin this lyrics with do you feel this connection to the ghost of my lust? Which means absolutely nothing, it just sounds cool. Yeah, that's the thing with this song. It's mostly just that. A lot of it doesn't mean much, it just sounds cool. And I know that's not what you want to hear. But then again, it's not really what I want to say either. I want to say make your own ideas, because I don't have none. Not with this one. I had a lot of them with Rivers Will Flow. I had a lot of them with Tell Me What You Know. It's basically me telling a story. That was the most defined lyrics I have ever written. This one, nothing. Which is why I would say again, make your own connections, because they will be so much better than mine, because I have none. There is a few things that I really like though. And that is how the theme of this one very nicely connects to the last two songs, because there is connection. I believe if you look at it all the way back to I Make My Own Drugs, you can kind of connect it to the Kubler-Ross model of grief, which we will talk about later in the next episode, the final episode, where when someone is confronted with death, or rather just some sort of grief, terror, fear, whatever, something bad, they go through 5 mental stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And you can kind of look at the ending of I Make My Own Drugs. That's none of them, but rather just the understanding that something is wrong. This is not the way I want to live my life. I need to change something. So that's the understanding that there is a problem. That is confrontation of something bad and the start of the model. Then Rivers Will Flow goes on to the first which says denial, being no, nothing's wrong with me, it's totally fine, you're the one who's wrong, religion is horrible. However you want to interpret the way those lyrics work. And by the end of the song it's instead anger. No, you're wrong, I'm right. He's looking down at this person of God, this woman he despises, and telling her, I ain't no delusional schizophrenic like you. I am the real fucking deal. I am the one who's right. He is very much mad. But in the end he accepts it. And he understands that maybe I'm wrong, but he still won't really fall into it. And this one kind of follows the bargaining stage of it all. It's very much like just trying to find another plausible way of life. I believe with cryptic songs like this, and the way I write them, it's less of a narration and more of just like, imagine a story with a character in it going through something horrible. And this sort of filler episode on the album, which is the best way I can describe it, is just seeing and hearing his thoughts. This is what goes through his head. He's singing a song explaining everything. He doesn't say what it does, but in his head, all of this is. And in the end, he's sort of calm, collected, but still like determined, which is why it's got that punch in it, the song, in the music. And towards the end, you go through this this almost transcendental stage with a lone monotone voice telling some old school lyrics in the background that's disconnected from music. And those are actually, if you remember the Rivers Will Flow episode, old lyrics from Rivers Will Flow. Yes, that is how much those are reused. I didn't waste a single lyric. Those were actually originally supposed to be in Rivers Will Flow, but they were clipped and I put them in this one again. And I find it very, very good because it's a very cool part of the song. And then at the end, after this whole segment, it's almost like he's out of this stage of grief or like transcendental stage, which is very similar to the way the solo or middle part of What About Me represents. It's basically just supposed to be, in my head, a lot of thoughts racing back and forth. You cannot really make out everything. You just sort of get this feeling that, wow, things are not going the way they're supposed to be. Everything's just chaos, back and forth. And in the end, it comes out someone new. And in this one, much like the I Make My Own Drugs ending chorus, the lyrics are now changed to I've always known how beautiful your eyes are. Just never learn to accept these feelings because they're bad. But sometimes you need to look at the bad things in order to see the beauty in something horrendous. Which we will go into very much in the last episode. It's gonna be a good one. You're not gonna want to miss it. The song itself is like every other song, but we're gonna talk a lot about what just the album itself means and also what the name Graceful Goblin means. But for now, let's leave it with that. The song ends with the line, I know I have to live free, which is also one of the lines in the following song, Run Off With Me, the final song, which I feel like is a nice connect.